Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying close attention to the NFL landscape lately, you know that the offseason is always a time full of surprises, rumors, and potential blockbuster moves. But this year, especially for Steelers fans, the buzz is more intense than ever. The Steelers, under the leadership of Mike Tomlin, and with a roster that's been showing flashes of brilliance, are not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. No, they're actively trying to reshape their future, and the rumors, the hints, the whispers, they're pointing to something bigger than just off-season chatter. Let's start with a quick recap of what's been going on. You probably remember that earlier this spring, the Steelers made a bold move by trading for DK Metcalf, giving quarterback Kenny Pickett a true deep threat to work with. That alone signaled that Pittsburgh is serious about competing now, not just rebuilding for the future. They want to contend, and they want to do it with a roster that's versatile, aggressive, and full of talent. But it's not just about what they've already done. The real story is in what they might do next, and that's where the rumors about big-name trades and signings come into play. Recently, the Steelers officially signed veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Yes, that Aaron Rodgers, for what might be his last shot at a Super Bowl. The signing was a huge splash, bringing a quarterback with a Hall of Fame resume into the mix. It's a move that instantly elevates the team's chances, but it also signals that Pittsburgh is not content with just being a playoff team. They're aiming higher, and that's exactly why the rumors about potential trades for elite players are gaining traction. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, we got Rodgers, we added Metcalf, but what's next? Who else could they target? Well, one name that's been floating around and creating a lot of buzz is Jalen Ramsey, the Miami Dolphins cornerback. And here's where things get really interesting. During a recent appearance on ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, NFL insider Adam Schefter dropped a pretty intriguing detail. He revealed that the Steelers had already made contact with the Dolphins to express their interest in trading for Ramsey. That's right, Pittsburgh is actively exploring options to bolster their secondary, and Ramsey, a proven shutdown corner, would be a massive addition. Now, you have to understand, Jalen Ramsey is no ordinary player. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league when healthy, capable of shadowing the opponent's top receiver and creating turnovers. Pittsburgh's secondary has been decent but not elite in recent seasons. Darius Slay is still a solid veteran, and Joey Porter Jr., the promising rookie, has shown flashes of brilliance, but adding Ramsey could turn their pass defense into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Think about it, a secondary with Ramsey, Slay, Porter, and maybe even adding a healthy Minkah Fitzpatrick behind them. That would be a defensive unit that strikes fear into any offense. But here's the catch. Schefter also pointed out that while the Steelers checked in with Miami, they might not necessarily be the frontrunners for Ramsey's services. In fact, he suggested that Pittsburgh might not be the most likely destination, especially considering the financial aspect. Ramsey's contract situation, the Dolphins' asking price, and the Steelers' cap space all come into play. Schefter mentioned that for a trade to happen, it would have to work financially for both sides, which is often the biggest hurdle in these negotiations. Still, the fact that Pittsburgh made the call is a sign of real interest. They're not just sitting back, they're actively trying to improve their roster, especially on defense. And let's not forget, the Steelers have a long-standing reputation for building strong, disciplined defenses. Historically, their identity has been rooted in a tough, physical, and opportunistic style of play. Adding a player like Ramsey could be a game-changer, not only for their secondary but for the entire defense, which would become even more intimidating. It would send a message to the rest of the league that Pittsburgh is serious about competing at the highest level and making a deep playoff run. Now, thinking about the bigger picture here, this potential trade signals a few things. First, the Steelers are in win-now mode, even if they're still developing their young core. They see the window for championship contention, especially with Rodgers leading the offense and a defense that's ready to take a step forward. Second, it shows that they're willing to make bold moves, even if it costs draft picks or cap space. That's a hallmark of a team that's hungry for success. And third, it's a clear message to their division rivals. The AFC North is about to get even more competitive, and the Steelers are not backing down. Looking at the current roster, the team's draft picks, and recent signings, it's clear that Pittsburgh is trying to strike a balance between youth and experience. Kenny Pickett, their young quarterback, is entering his second year, and the coaching staff is placing a lot of faith in his development. If they can surround him with playmakers like Metcalf and bolster the defense with a player like Ramsey, the Steelers could be looking at a very special season. They are deep in the process of trying to replicate the success they enjoyed in the 2000s and early 2010s, where defense and a smart, balanced offense led them to multiple Super Bowl appearances. Of course, the NFL offseason is always unpredictable. Sometimes these rumors turn into reality, and sometimes they fizzle out. But the fact that the Steelers are making these moves and showing interest in high-profile players tells us a lot about their mindset. They're not just looking to compete, they're looking to dominate. And if they manage to pull off a trade for Ramsey or even make a splash with other big names, it could redefine their trajectory for the next few seasons. Now, let's talk about what this means for the AFC North. The division has always been fiercely competitive, with the Ravens, Bengals, and Browns all vying for supremacy. But if the Steelers add Ramsey to a defense that already has guys like T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and a developing secondary, they could become the team to beat. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson, the Bengals have Joe Burrow, and the Browns are always dangerous with their star-studded roster. But Pittsburgh's new aggressiveness might just shift the balance, especially if their offense can catch up and become more explosive under Rodgers. And speaking of Rodgers, his arrival is arguably the biggest story of this offseason for the Steelers. The veteran quarterback has a lot to prove after a few turbulent seasons with the Jets, and now he's back in a familiar environment where he's surrounded by talent and a promising defense. His leadership, combined with the offensive weapons they've acquired and the potential defensive upgrades, could make Pittsburgh a dark horse in the AFC. Fans are already dreaming about playoff matchups, and the anticipation is building. In conclusion, the Steelers are not just sitting idly by. They are actively shaping their future, making calls, exploring trades, and aiming for that elusive Super Bowl. Whether or not a Ramsey trade materializes, the fact that they are in the conversation is enough to excite fans and make their division rivals nervous. This offseason has the potential to be one of the most transformative in recent Steelers history, and it's all unfolding right in front of our eyes. So stay tuned, because if recent history is any indication, Pittsburgh is about to make some serious waves in the NFL. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these rumors? Do you think the Steelers are really going to pull the trigger and go after Jalen Ramsey? Or do you believe they're focusing on other targets? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, this team is built on fan passion, and your voice helps shape the conversation. I'll be back soon with even more updates, so stay tuned to this channel for the latest Steelers news, analysis, and insider info. This offseason is just getting started, and trust me, it's going to be an exciting ride. Keep the faith, Steelers Nation, because the best is yet to come.